Intelligently, Phil Grande can show you.
If you want real information and you really want to know what the market's going to do and you want the truth, go to my site, philsgang.com, and also listen to me on my radio show every weekday at 3 o'clock Eastern.
Phil's got the answers at philsgang.com.
That's philsgang.com, where you get the truth and you get the information you need about the market. Hi, I'm Phil Grande of philsgang.com. Over the years, I've successfully taught tens of thousands of investors how to navigate the market with confidence. Become a Phil's Gang member and receive the training, the advice, and the software that will take your investing to the next level. I have a team comprised of successful investors, all with proven track records. And the Phil's Gang software is easy to use, painless to navigate, and tells you exactly when to buy, when to sell, when to hold, when to run like hell, even short. Learn about common market mistakes and how to minimize them. You don't have to be a seasoned investor to benefit from Phil's Gang and platform. No matter what level investor you are, my strategies for investing are designed to put you on the path to success. Sign up for the 10-day free trial to see our platform in action. Avoid market pitfalls and start winning with Phil's Gang. Learn more at philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com.
What if you could have an in-depth understanding of the stock market just like the pros? Well, thanks to Phil Grande and philsgang.com, you can. philsgang.com offers comprehensive, up-to-date market information designed to help you understand and anticipate market behavior. With philsgang.com, you'll build your investing confidence even through down cycles and periods of uncertainty. Go to philsgang.com. philsgang.com today. 877-600-GANG. 877-600-4264. When making wise investment decisions, Phil Grande has some sound reasons you should join Phil's Gang.
When I started this, they asked me, okay, can you explain to people why they should join the gang? Gee, I thought about that. And I guess to make money. But more than that, to get good direction on which way the economy's really going. We get so much crap, so many lies, how great the economy is and how great the tech business is, and when it's not. The problem is we have too many people in Washington and in this industry that just don't tell the truth. The truth is everything. And here at Phil's Gang, we stick with the facts. We tell the truth. We make sure our members, are getting the best information, and our listeners, like you. We make that information available to you and make it simple and understandable.
Good investing means understanding how the stock market works. Join today at philsgang.com. The stocks discussed on Phil's Gang are not in any way a recommendation or solicitation to buy, sell, or hold. If considering acting on information presented, we first recommend you seek out a competent, licensed professional for advice. Get ready for the radio show that tells you what Wall Street doesn't want you to know.
Oh, I'm a money magnet. Money, money, money's coming to me. Money sets me free. I'm a money magnet. Money's coming to me.
It's your daily dose of how to manage your money. And now it's time for Phil's Gang on the Off the Wall Street Radio Network. With your host, Phil Grande.
Good afternoon and welcome to Phil's Gang. There's a lot of conversations going on about what happened. Why did the Democrats lose the race? We're going to look into some of those conversations and why they think they lost the race. We're also going to take a look at some stocks, two great stocks, Walmart and also Delta Airlines. We're going to take a look at that. And we've made a couple of trades using our Pro 2 color-coded chart. I'm going to show you how that works. And we're going to look at those gains. And we're going to also take a look at the bond market. Because remember, the bond market is where the truth is, not the stock market. Stop listening to those dopes that you see on the financial stations, the fake business news networks. Doesn't help you. CNBC, any of those. They don't tell you the truth. What tells you the truth is the bond market. And Trump's got a decision to make now. Because the bond market is saying, hey, wait a minute. And the bond market's been saying since September 18th, that's right, September 18th, we got a real problem here. A real problem. And these yields continue to go up. Now remember, when they did the 50 basis point rate cut on September 18th, yields are supposed to go down. But instead, they went up, giving a severe warning. The bond market saying, hey, we got too much debt, too much deficits. This is not going to work. And we're warning that no matter who gets into office at that time, whoever becomes president at that time, we are worried with all the promises they're making of tax cuts, it's going to even get worse, which could lead to a complete meltdown, could lead to a crash worse than 1929 and 2008, 2020. That's what the bond market's saying. Remember, the bond market is the overseer. The bond market tells you the truth. And right now, they're saying, look, this is nuts. For the last 4 years, we have tremendous spending by Biden and Harris. $4.5 billion a day. And we're not taking enough tax revenue, which is crazy. You can't spend that kind of money and be short on tax revenue, $2 trillion a year. That's a weak economy. But wait a minute. Listen to this.
Consumers are doing fine. Home prices are up, stocks are up, wages are going up. There are plenty of jobs and businesses are in pretty good shape.
This narrative that the U.S. economy is slowing, really, I don't see it in the data.
See, that's the problem. See, all lies. See, the election told us that Americans were screaming, hey, things are bad. Wages are bad. Do you know that wages have increased, adjusted for inflation, by 1.4%, where as of now, starting going back to January 2021, when Biden and Harris took office, up to now, the inflation is still up 20%. But wait a minute. Wages are only up 1.4% when you adjust for inflation. But they're telling us, hey, economy looks good, consumer's good. Not true. So let's take a look at what's going on. First of all, Democrats are now discussing what caused them to lose so badly. Many Democrats say it was when Harris made this statement right here.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had impact.
That was pretty dumb. But this was the worst one.
He murdered a father of 3, sentenced to life in prison. Kamala Harris pushed to use tax dollars to pay for his sex change.
I made sure that they changed the policy so that every transgender inmate would have access.
It sounds insane because it is insane. Kamala was the first to help pay for a prisoner's sex change.
The power that I had, I used it in a way that was about pushing for the movement, frankly, and the agenda.
Kamala's agenda is they, them, not you.
That was pretty stupid. What happened was the Republicans ran that ad 33,000 times. And many of those ads were at events. Baseball games, football games, mega sports. They ran that 33,000 times. Now, the feedback from the hard-working Main Street middle-class American to the White House to the Marxists and Socialist Democrats were, hey, this is crazy. We're angry. Are you kidding me? You're spending money on this? When we are having a tough time putting food on the table? This is where you're going to spend money? This is what you want? They were angry. But here's what happened. It was interesting. When they reviewed the content of this ad, Republican ad, and they did all their research, they found out they had a problem. The Harris team created an ad to offset this ad. But the ad was scrapped. They scrapped the ad. They were worried because the hard left, the Marxists of the party, AOC and her squad, very upset because they didn't want to disrupt the small majority of the party or the people who were working at the White House. Remember, they backed themselves in the corner. When Biden and Harris took over the White House, they backed themselves in the corner in 2020 by being the most LGBTQ administration in U.S. history. Examples: transgender, Rachel Levine, who's the Assistant Secretary for Health; Mayor Buttigieg, who is part of the LGBT community and is Transportation Secretary; Corinne Jean-Pierre, Eiffel Tower, Press Secretary, all high profiles. So they had a discussion about, look, we got to go after this ad because we're going to get clobbered. Because the response from the ad, the research was the middle class, especially the folks that didn't have college degrees, were angered. But the reason they decided to scrap the ad that would have fought that ad, because they did not want to upset the LGBTQ community, which a lot of the leaders in the community were in the White House. So they're blaming that. They're blaming the fact that they didn't go after that ad. They didn't go and attack that ad. So that's another thing they're blaming. But let's move on from that. Remember, the clock comes back to 12. You can stomp it, kick it, drown it, but it always comes back to 12. Will the Republicans now make the same mistake in another way? Here's what's going on. Remember, the bond market is saying that you got a problem the day you walk in that White House. You've been promising during the campaign all these tax cuts, and you're going to make them quickly. But you can't. You can't. In spite of the 1,500-point Trump victory relief rally, they got a problem. The bond market since September 18th continues to send out red flags that they're spending far more than they're taking in. Now, if Trump decides, okay, I got to get these tax cuts quickly, got to get those done because I promised it, there's going to be a problem. The best thing to do is to cut the spending first. You got to cut that spending first. Because if you don't cut the spending, we're going to be in a hell of a problem. Because, again, deficits are going to keep climbing. And if deficits keep climbing, we have consequences. And we're seeing it right now in our 10 leading economic indicators, all negative. The GDP, our employment figures, industrial production, consumer spending, home sales, home building, construction spending, manufacturing, retail sales, all getting clobbered because the 10-year Treasury yield is going up. What the bond market is saying is, look, if you don't cut spending first, and I keep raising this 10-year Treasury yield, we're going to crush your economy. The bond market will crush your economy. And that's quite a problem for the president. So it's going to be interesting to see what he's doing. Now remember, the problem is Biden and Harris, like their mentors before them, their mentors, Obama and Bernie Sanders, have, again, the same embedded socialist and Marxist attitudes of debt and deficits have no relevance, as they put no strain on the economy. What are they, nuts? That's insane. But that's what they believe, because they believe it's a pathway, it provides a pathway to expand the government welfare state. That's what Obama did. He worked on expanding the welfare state. And same thing with Biden and Harris, keep expanding the welfare state. And what they keep saying is, it doesn't matter how much debt we have, doesn't matter how much deficits. They have no relevance. Debt and deficits have no relevance. Puts no strain on the economy. See, that's how Marxist socialists think. But it does. When you're spending $2 trillion more than the taxable income, that places a hell of a tremendous strain on Main Street economy. There's proof. Look at the 10-year yield. Up 65 basis points since they cut the 50 basis point rate. Remember, they cut rates on September 18th, 50 basis points. And yields go down all the time when you do that. But no, yields turned around and went up. So Mr. Bond Market is sending a warning to Trump. Hey, enjoy your victory. It's great. It's terrific. But you're going to have some consequences if this yield keeps rising. And it's going to keep rising. Remember, it's quite a long time before he takes over that White House. And they're going to spend like crazy. And again, remember, the destruction of yields going up is simple. The stock market's going to be destroyed. The economy's going to be destroyed. Small businesses are going to be destroyed. That's the backbone of the economy. So that's a real problem. Now, again, we look like we have peaked. It looks like the stock market has peaked. Has it? We're not sure yet, but we'll know soon. Now remember, when the stock market's peak, or at least right now it's acting like it's peaked, you first start in that euphoria stage. That's where we are now. We are in a euphoria stage. People then get complacent. So see, we got to keep our eye on this. I told my gang members, we got to watch this closely. We're now entering the euphoria stage, but if we get into the complacency stage, this is going to be dangerous. Next will be the anxiety. They're going to get just nervous. They're going to have anxiety attacks if the market starts going down. And if the market goes down, the next thing that happens, they start denying it. They say, oh, it's okay, the market's going down, but you don't understand. It's going to go right back up. You don't understand. These stocks are good. They get into denial. Then when the market goes down again, they get into panic. They won't sell their stocks. They won't sell short. Most people don't know how to sell short. Well, we fixed that with our color-coded chart. Turns red. Imagine that. You can sell short by just look at your chart now. It'll turn red. We'll get into that a little bit later. So, by the way, so what's going on is that we got to watch right now. Are we going to go from the euphoria stage to complacency, anxiety, denial? We don't know, but we got to keep an eye on that. So the President Trump, he needs this bond market. He's got to heal to this bond market warning because it's very dangerous. Now, remember, Biden and Harris have been spending $4.5 billion a day, leaving a deficit of $2 trillion. You can't keep spending more than your tax income. And Mr. Bond Market is saying, we are going to have one hell of a crash. So wake up. You got to make a decision. Are you going to just cut rates without cut spending? If you do that, get ready for a crash. More when I get back.
Want more information on this show? Go to philsgang.com or give them a call at 877-600-GANG.
At St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, we're fighting against childhood cancer every day. At the heart of this battle are our donors.
Most of us want to make some type of difference in the lives of others. St. Jude does miraculous work.
The fact that no one has to pay, it's a place where everyone is treated as an equal.
Everybody is welcome here, and it doesn't matter your religion or what part of the world you're from, all that is taken away. It just gives you some hope.
It's just a nice feeling to put your energy into something that really does genuinely make a difference in a child's life.
There's just no greater gift. If we have the ability to help, then we have a responsibility to help.
Finding cures, saving children. St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Find out how you can help at stjude.org.
You want to invest your money and grow your wealth. How do you invest intelligently? Become a Phil's Gang member and receive the training, advice, and software that will take your investing to the next level. Our team is comprised of successful investors, all with proven track records. Phil's Gang software is easy to use, painless to navigate, and tells you exactly when to buy and sell to help maximize profits. Learn about common market mistakes and how to minimize them. Phil's Gang has successfully taught tens of thousands of investors how to navigate the market with confidence. You don't need to be a seasoned investor to benefit from the Phil's Gang platform, no matter what level of investor you are. Phil's Gang strategies for investing are designed to put you on the path to success. Sign up for a 10-day free trial to see our platform in action, avoid market pitfalls, and start winning with Phil's Gang. Learn more at philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com. Welcome back. Are you ready to make profits in the stock market? Why not check out philsgang.com or give us a call, 877-600-4264. Now, here's Phil.
And welcome back to Phil's Gang. To say debt has no relevance and puts no strain on the economy, you got to have been born a liar. Don't you think so? That is so unbelievable to say something like that. But listen to this. You want to know why the Democrats lost? Because of the lying. Now, here's a big lie right here.
If you look at working families, $4,000 more to spend because incomes have risen more than prices.
That is not true. In fact, Powell just complained. He's complaining that companies are now passing along their price increases to the consumer. And he's worried about inflation. And when you look at the numbers, our economic growth is horrible. And if you look at the current inflation, I'm talking about the current inflation. People don't realize inflation is still up 20% from January 2021 to now. Inflation is still up 20%. And then when you adjust for inflation, wages are only up 1.4% against that inflation. What are they talking about? They're lying. Just like when they said the people who follow Trump are Nazis. Remember? We're supposed to be all Nazis. These people lie. This is the problem they're having. It's unbelievable. I was watching the press conference with Jean-Pierre leaning Eiffel Tower. And the guy on the press asked a great question. Well, now that President Trump has been invited to the White House this week, I'm a little confused. Right before he won the election, you were calling him Hitler and a Nazi. And you were saying that if he wins the election, there's not going to be any more elections in this country. If he wins the election, it's over. There's no more democracy. It's no more voting. He's a Nazi. Now he wins and you invite him to the White House. How does it, can you square that? And Jean-Pierre Eiffel Tower couldn't square it. She got so mad she ran out of the press room. It was funny to watch her. But think about that for a moment. How that last few days, that's all they were saying is how we're Nazis, we're Nazis. And if he gets elected, it's over. Our democracy's gone. Everything's gone. And then the next day, hey, come on to the White House. We're pals now. Well, which is it? I thought that was quite funny. But let's go on to something that's not funny. So let's listen to this. This is again.
Well, the underlying U.S. economy remains very strong.
Very strong? Listen to what he says about the labor market. This is Bernstein, Jared Bernstein. He is unbelievable. He's the fixer at the White House.
This is one of the things that happens when you have a persistently tight full employment labor market. You pull in a lot of folks from the sidelines, get them into the job market, give them some opportunities. That's core to the Biden-Harris.
Wait a minute. Listen to what he says.
This is one of the things that happens when you have a persistently tight full employment labor market. You pull in a lot of folks from the sidelines.
Wait a minute. Why is the labor market tight? Bernstein's not going to tell you. Here's what they do. To tighten the labor market, they get more people on the government payroll, government jobs. They use government jobs to mask and to subsidize the weak labor market. So he then comes out and says how the labor market's strong.
This is one of the things that happens when you have a persistently tight full employment labor market. You pull in a lot of folks from the sidelines, get them into the job market, give them some opportunities. That's core to the...
Get them into the job market. They get them into the... They're giving them a government job, for heaven's sakes. They used government jobs to mask and subsidize the weak labor market. 40% of job gains the first Friday of the month come from government jobs. If you remember the last report, we had 12,000 jobs. 12,000? Are you nuts? But it was much worse than that. You know how they kept it to 12,000? Because what they don't tell you is 40%. Okay? They went and hired all these people. The government did. So if we took that 40% out, we would have been negative. There'd have been negative jobs. So every time they get a bad job number, they go in and they hire everybody in the private sector. And that's how they keep wages up. Now they're always talking about wages. It's a lie. How they get wages up is, let's say you have 500 people. Okay, they all need jobs. So there's a job opening at a restaurant. Everybody goes there. They need a short order cook. They need a chef, whatever. The guy will say, look, I'll take less than anybody else. Just give me a job. I'll take less than anybody else. Just give me a job. I'll work for, instead of $20 an hour, I'll do it to $10 an hour. So what they do, so that doesn't happen, they go, those 500 people, come work for us in the government. Come work for us in the government. So instead of 500 people looking for a job, there's 3. And when they walk to the restaurant, they say to the owner, how much is the job? Well, short order cook, we're paying $20. Well, I'm not going to take it unless you pay me $50. And this is what they did. And the guy that owns the restaurant, he needs a short order cook. He needs a short order cook. So he'll say, okay, I'll pay whatever you want. This is how we got this inflation. This is crazy what they do. So it's all lies. Listen to this one.
I think the long-term bond yield is probably on the way up because the economy is so good. I think the long-term...
What? That's a lie. I understand how it works. The bond market. When you have yields going up, they'll say, oh, look, yields are going up. That means we're going to have a strong economy. Do you know how often that happens? About as often as we have a soft landing, which is once every 70 years. Yes, it'd be terrific if we have terrific jobs, productivity up the yin-yang. Are you kidding me? That'd be great. And then, if you have, let's say, tremendous savings, people aren't taking their money out of 401ks, there's no emergency withdrawals, that'd be great. But it's not what's happening. People are hurting. So, again, to say that the economy is good?
I think the long-term bond yield is probably on the way up because the economy...
No, see, the long-term bond yield, the 20 or the 10-year Treasury, we'll use the 10-year that's going up. It's going up because things are bad. And they're trying to say, oh, no, when the 10-year Treasury, that means in the future things are going to be terrific. But it's not going to be terrific unless wages are outpacing inflation. Wages haven't been outpacing inflation for 4 years. That's a lie. The yields on the bond are going up because they are giving a warning to the president that because of Biden and Harris, we're spending far more than the tax income. If you start cutting taxes first, that means that's going to be a real problem, because that means our deficits are going to widen. And if the deficits widen any worse, we're going to have one hell of a crash. You can't do that. You got to cut spending first. So that's a whole bold-faced lie. One thing that doesn't lie is my color-coded chart. Now, what's a color-coded chart? Let me show you a stock. I want to show you something. I'm going to pull up one of our stocks, and it's, let's use, okay, it's Delta, right here, Delta. Now, the nice thing about a color-coded chart, it's green, and it's red, and it's yellow. When you look at a typical chart, what do you see? You see red and you see green. What does it mean? Well, red tells you that day when the market closed, we closed on a low. Green means we closed on a high. Now that's okay. That's good information for a professional. He needs that information. But for a person who trades maybe twice a month, 3 times a month, or maybe once or twice a week, he wants to know, I just bought a stock. I wonder if money's going in. Your chart doesn't tell you that, because it's green, red, green, red. It looks like a Christmas tree. So 25 years ago, when I found out that 85% of the retail investors were losing money, I said, this is nuts. This is crazy. And I said, they're making it too difficult. That's the problem. They're making it too difficult. When you look at a chart, people don't know what the hell they're doing. So I simplified it, and I said, why don't we do this? If money's going in, why can't it be red? And the other thing, why can't it be green? If money's coming out, let it be red. And why doesn't Wall Street tell them about the sweet spot? The sweet spot. Here, let me show you what I mean. I'll give you a chart here. Take a look at this right here. All right, let's see. All right. I just want to get you the right chart. Make sure the right chart. Hold on 1 second here. Yeah, show. Okay, here you go, right here. Take IBM. Okay, if you look at IBM, this is one of our stocks right here, IBM. Now look at this. You see how this 9% right there, that's called a sweet spot. Wall Street's not going to tell you about the sweet spot. What's a sweet spot? A sweet spot is the point in which the most money goes in a very short period of time. So, for example, let's say the stock market, okay, the stock market was everybody was shorting it, okay? Everybody started to short the market, okay? All right, so if you short the market, let me put this up for you. So you say the market, they're shorting it, right? Comes straight down like this, coming straight down. Well, what happens is when they're finished shorting it, they have to buy their stock back. So what happens, you got all these people who shorted it, who were sellers, are now buyers. And then when that happens, you have hedge funds come in, you have the big banks come in, insurance companies. So what you have is the most money coming in at a very short period of time. That's why they've always tried to stop shorting, because they didn't want this to happen. So they never tell you about the sweet spot. So we designed our charts so you can spot the sweet spot. See the 9%? When the sweet spot lines up, and if it turns green, you buy. That means money's coming in. If it's red, you don't. And while you're buying that stock, if it turns yellow, it warns you that money starts coming out. It's giving you a heads up. Now, another problem is the sweet spot is wonderful, because that's the point on your chart that you have the highest probability of not losing money because of all that money coming in. And Wall Street doesn't want you to know that. They don't want you to know that. Now, the problem for the small retail investor, he never gets beyond that 9% because he gets scared. Most retail investors never get that 35%, that full trade of 35%, because they get scared out. They get scared. Well, the Pro 2 color-coded chart, once you get past that sweet spot, if money starts coming out before the stock drops, it will turn yellow and warn you. And then it will turn red. But at least you get the warning early it's yellow. I mean, and then it's the same thing when you short a stock. Okay, it's just the opposite. We have a sweet spot when you short. So many people have difficulty shorting. They're scared to death. I understand that. But 25 years ago, I designed my chart. So again, green you buy, red you sell short. And when you sell short, do it into the sweet spot, because that's where most of the money is going to go out at the shortest period of time. See that 32% return? Now, of course, you can go get the whole 63% return. So just check it out. Go to my site, philsgang.com. Use my color-coded charts for 10 days free. There's nothing like them. We buy on green and we sell on red. And if there's going to be a color change, guess that you get warned. We'll see you on the chart. Thank you for listening.
You have been listening to Phil's Gang with your host, Phil Grande, on the Off the Wall Street Radio Network. Off the Wall Street Radio Network. Remember to visit Phil's website at philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com. Or call the office, 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264.
It's up to me to make